watching The Walking Dead, Shaun of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and every other zombie film that has dead in the title, one thing is exceptionally clear: zombies make the best bad guys. With a huge array of zombie media, it's no surprise that in the gaming world, zombies are extremely prevalent, as they make the perfect, versatile bad guy. The bigger they are, the bigger the bang, such as the bloaters in Left 4 Dead, fungal, sonar-wielding nightmares such as the clickers in The Last of Us, with more different types than I'd really care to mention. For me personally, there's one winner when it comes to the zombie game: Bohemia Interactive's DayZ, an open world survival MMO. DayZ brings the best of the undead to the PC in what has already been one of the most successful alpha tests, with well over 2 million copies sold before the game was anywhere near completed. Set in a future desolate Russia after the standard war, disease or whatever, the apocalypse comes and your dead are not quite so dead anymore. You take the role of a so far unnameless survivor, braving the zombies and other people that are scattered throughout your server to find weapons, food, water and medical supplies to keep yourself from being a dinner for one. Luckily enough, there's plenty to go around, with common to rare items distributed amongst every building and room across the map, from rotten kiwis with a small chance of being poisoned, to bags of rice and cooking equipment to make a hearty dinner for you and your best chum. There's more to be found than just food, however. There's a multitude of gun types, melee weapons, clothing, backpacks, and useful equipment such as water purification tablets and defibrillators, and soon vehicles. The controls will feel very similar to anyone who's played Arma 2 or Arma 3, but can feel quite clunky and unresponsive to people not used to subtle and at times complicated controls. Adjusting the mouse sensitivity will be a starting point, as the movements needed to turn and aim are usually quite high compared to normal FPS games. The action button is the scroll wheel on the mouse to cycle through actions available. This can be quite awkward and fiddly at times, so I was glad to hear that the whole inventory and action selection system was being updated and redesigned in one of the new frequent patches. Aiming and firing is very clear cut, with only small motions needed, enabling you to line up some great headshots. Whether you want to take them, however, is a different story altogether. Guns will always be the most sought after weapons in DayZ, but the only advantage they really give you will be over other players. Firing rounds into a zombie is satisfying, just as popping bubble wrap, but with the noise and the immediate response by their corpsey friends, you'll wish you hadn't bothered. One gunshot can send every zombie from an alarming distance sprinting straight at you, so you best be sure to have enough ammunition to defend yourself if you are forced to fire a gun. The upshot of this means, however, that if you've only got a bullet or two and are being tracked by another player, fire off a round and your undead reinforcements will arrive post-haste to attack your pursuer. And probably you too, but nonetheless, when you're bleeding out, a last-ditch effort can secure you in the knowledge that if you're going down, at least they will as well. With bleeding in mind, the medical system on DayZ is currently detailed but not very functional. There are great aspirations of blood transfusions between players to save lives, having to find insulin if you're unlucky enough to be spawned with diabetes, and performing blood tests on a dying adversary to find an O-type blood donor and drain that sucker dry to stock up on blood reserves for you and your team. Defibrillators are now usable on unconscious players to revive them, and you can apply bandages and adrenaline to get them back up on their feet and back into the fight. If you die, you start again. Respawning can drop you into a random town with only a torch, clothes on your back and a battery to survive. You better find that backpack and a tin of beans quickly, because it won't take a huge amount of effort for exhaustion to set in and the effects of hunger and thirst to turn into starvation and dehydration. With the odds against you, it really does prove as to how useful having friends with you can really be. Together you can pool your resources, raid towns quicker and keep each other's spirits up in those lengthy treks. As anyone playing an alpha should expect, DayZ has its fair share of glitches and bugs. Lag and server failures are the main annoyance, but ironically the glitches which usually ruin games actually improve how scary DayZ can be. With zombies not obeying the laws of physics and running straight through walls and floors to assault you, it can really make you shit your pants. Really. The transition to day and night can make the whole experience even more nerve-wracking, as you soon realise that your inventory is king and efficiency is paramount. Throwing your torch and battery away for a bottle of water or some antibiotics seems like a no-brainer at the time, but as soon as night comes around, you would offer every piece of equipment for just one match. It's bad enough in the day, trust me. The community of gamers on DayZ started out as a great big bunch of mates whose main objective was to have fun, kill a few zombies that you could find and generally sit around campfires singing songs. But when the guns and the bullets were introduced in more and plentiful quantities, the niceties seemed to fade away as you realise the guy with a gas mask and an M16, he's not really making full use of his awesome stuff, as say you would, so you put an axe for the back of his head. Graphically, DayZ is excellently presented, with high-end machines being able to handle the ultra graphics and excellent lighting effects, but there hasn't been a huge amount of updates to the character models and the weather effects as of yet. Wild animals have been added, but the ability to carve them down into tasty treats doesn't seem to be an option. Neither does making those pesky fires to dry out your wet sack. On the whole, DayZ has fantastic potential, and is a great team game for people who love searching in every nook and cranny finding supplies and equipment to just survive another 10 minutes with a broken leg. Me and Cal will keep doing videos for DayZ, if only for the funny glitches and the pants-shitting jumping zombies. I'd recommend this game to a lot of people, but in its current state I don't believe it to be fair to rate it, as the finished full release could be completely different, and I may even grow to hate it. With only a small amount of designers and developers, the DayZ team have pulled a spectacular promise out of their trousers. Let's just hope that they can keep a hold of it.
Oh.
Just have a quick bash out. Why not? Why not? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh.